What's up, fam? Just want to share a short message with you out of Job chapter 31, verse 1. It says, I have made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? For what is the allotment of God from above, and the inheritance from the Almighty from on high? So he's asking the question, hey, like, what do we get? He's asking the question, what happens? He says, is it not the destruction for the wicked and disaster for the workers of iniquity? Does he not see my ways and count all my steps? And so God knows our heart. He knows our desires. He knows our motives. He knows the things that we exalt. And I was just thinking about this verse the other day. That Job had made a covenant with his eyes. And think about Job. Job was a man that was upright in the sight of God. And so, when we want to be living upright in the sight of God, it's a good idea to see what upright men did. And one thing that Job did is he made a covenant with his eyes not to look upon young women. And he's talking about beautiful women. And so it's just a reminder here. And even David was a man after God's own heart. And look what it said in Psalm 119, verse 37. He says, "Turn away my eyes from looking at worthless things and revive me in your way." And so you might say to yourself, I don't have a problem, looking at the opposite sex, lusting, desiring. Well, it can be other things too. So we still have to guard our eyes. We got to guard our eyes from, the things that we're desiring, whether you're coveting somebody's goods, house, maybe you're not content with your own place and, you want something bigger. There's nothing wrong with wanting to work harder and have more. But if you're willing to compromise to get it, that's not from the Lord. Same thing with looking at, people of the opposite sex. If you're willing to compromise, if you're looking at them inappropriately, it's just a reminder that, we got to get it right. Like what he says here. He says, if I walked with falsehood, or if my foot has hastened to deceit, let me be weighed on honest scales that God may know my integrity. And so the next thing he's dealing with is integrity. We have to have integrity of heart because God knows it, right? He says, if my step has turned from the way, or my heart walked after my eyes, or if any spot adheres to my hands, then let me sow and another eat. Yes, let my harvest be rooted out. Can you imagine saying that to God? Hey, God, if I'm doing things, if I'm straying from the way, if I'm, if I've turned from the way, if I'm doing anything deceitful, let me work and let somebody else profit from it. Like that would be a serious statement, right? That would be, that's a scary thought, because God does weigh our hearts. But Job did. Job said this. Look what it says here in verse 9. He says, if my heart had been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind for another, and let others bow down over her. Can you imagine saying that? Hey, God, if I'm looking at women inappropriately, if I'm being enticed by a woman, let somebody else be with my wife. I couldn't imagine that. He says, for that would be wickedness. Yes, it would be iniquity deserving of judgment. For that would be a fire that consumes to destruction and would root out all my increase. And so it's just a reminder today that, if we're not guarding our eyes, guess what? It's going to root out all our increase. Our integrity, we're going to have to give an account for all the idle words we speak, for every action we've committed. And so let's live in such a way where, we can say these things. And I know we can't do it on our own, but all things are possible with God. So let's search our hearts, see if there's things that need to be dealt with. And if so, let's do business with God today.